Afternoon, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the court. My name is Simodi, and today I shall be representing the appellant, Ms. Harley Pavlovich, in today's case. So, on the 29th of September 2021, at approximately 2200 hours, my client, Ms. Pavlovich, and her partner then, Ms. Urban Medine, were together on a private farm. Ms. Pavlovich was just doing her daily gardening alongside her partner, Ms. Medine, and they were clearing the farm from the weeds without ever wondering what they were. Miss Medine was assisting her in cleaning up of the farm, as she doesn't go there often, but was happy to help Miss Pavlovich with her work. They were thoroughly enjoying their time together during this event, and after a few hours of them working, a sheriff's deputy decided to come into the farm, which is also considered to be private property, without an active search warrant issued by the Court of San Andreas. That is when my client decided to leave the farm, and instead, this was immediately escalated into a pursuit where she was then stopped. After she was stopped by the deputies, they started searching her in her vehicle, finding a firearm and the ant weeds that Ms. Pavlovich was taking out of her farm to dispose of. They have found the weeds to be identified as marijuana, be in loosely thrown trash bags in the back of her vehicle, as well as not being singled out, measured, and bagged up individually, clearly indicating that there was no intent to sell. When the deputies asked Ms. Pavlovich about this, she stated the same thing. She did not intend for them to be sold. She was merely trying to get rid of them, or weeds in her farm. I would also like to point out that even with this knowledge, the sheriff's deputy told Ms. Pavlovich that if she had less than 8 marijuana plants on her person, it wouldn't have counted as a controlled substance, yet they proceeded to charge her with illegal drug possessions with the intent of sale and possession of a controlled substance while armed. And bear in mind, because of the prolonged time of her stay at the DOC, she was constantly harassed, attacked, and traumatized by her stay there. If it wasn't for these incorrect charges, Your Honor, she would have never been in the DOC to begin with for that prolonged amount of time. Due to this event, my client has visited the LSEMS to see a psychologist, as she does not feel safe in the open world anymore after that physical and mental trauma. Your Honor, we would like to ask that my client, the appellant, is found not guilty on both charges pertaining to this incident, as there is a lack of physical evidence from the deputy, since there was no body cam footage available for this incident as far as we know. That is it for me, Your Honor.
Sergeant Porter, if you don't mind, can you please go over the arrest report for me, if that's all right with you? Okay. Counselor Moody, if you'd be so kind, please present your evidence to the court and
Yes, sir.
information.
Sir, here is a witness statement that we have provided to the court. And based on the witness statement, I would like to call the witness, Ms. Urban Medine, to the stand. Ms. Medine is here. You might need a cough drop as well. All right, Ms. Medine, I have a couple of questions for you, if possible. Firstly, I would like to ask, what is your relationship with the appellant, Ms. Pavlovich? Elaborate for us, please. Okay. So, what exactly happened on that day, from your recollection, Ms. Medine? Because you understand it. No, I do understand that you're working with the appellant, but could you elaborate for us, please? So, Ms. Medine, when you were picking up the weeds at the time which this happened, when you were cleaning up the farm, did you know about the nature of the plants? Any idea what the plants were? Did you know that the plants were marijuana plants? Okay. That is all from me, Your Honor.
As Counselor Lewis is not present, we're going to have to continue unless Sergeant Porter would like to ask a couple questions on behalf of the respondent's side.
Yes, Your Honor. Myself, Lieutenant Porter, will be fine to do that.
Lieutenant Porter, if you can approach and ask Miss Medine here any questions you'd like pertaining to this case.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Lieutenant Porter of the Sheriff's Office. Another question I have for you today. Where were you during this time as we approached at the farm?
Your Honor, objection is irrelevant.
Okay, you're on your way home. How long have you known Mrs. Pavlovich? Are you aware of any of her previous records or involvements with the police department or the sheriff's office?
Objection, Your Honor. That is unfair. It is also prejudicial.
The last question I have you known Ms. Pavlovich to have any sort of issues with any drug use or mental issues?
Counselor Moody, any further questions for your witness? Miss Medine, you may return to your seat. Counselor Moody, any further witnesses to present to the court? As I'm unaware whether the respondent, the Los Santos Police or Sheriff's Department, had any witnesses. Lieutenant Porter, did you want to come up and outline the arrest report and the sequence of events of the arrest, please?
Certainly, Your Honor.
Please swear him in, bailiff. Lieutenant Porter, if you could please read the arrest report for us, or outline the process of the arrest.
I stated in this arrest report here from Master Deputy Daryl Lincoln, who has unfortunately passed before this hearing has been started. He stated in his narrative there was a pursuit that ended in the tunnels. She had a firearm on her as well as 7 marijuana plants. Inside the vehicle, there were additionally 34 marijuana plants. Due to what she said, and the penal code describes as the intent to sell, and while armed, the charges were placed in those manners. Myself, Lieutenant Porter, now called Sheriff Hardy to ensure that the plants were a controlled substance and to double check with the higher up to make sure that we are placing the appropriate charges. Going over the arrest report, as you can see on the screen here, possession of a controlled substance while armed, illegal drug possession with the intent of sales, felony evading, and possession of an illegal firearm or weapon.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Going
Kels-
to the... Go ahead, Your Honor.
Oh, you may continue, sorry.
Going over the sequence of events, as I joined the pursuit shortly after the pursuit was headed towards the city. This pursuit did last about 15 to 20 minutes to my best recollection. Mrs. Pavlovich was in the Paragon R with the license plate TRPQUEN. Led us on a chase throughout the city where it ended in the tunnels underneath the city. During this time, multiple deputies and the police department were on scene and proceeded to take Mrs. Pavlovich out of the vehicle and detain her. Ms. Pavlovich read her rights, and she was detained and patted down to where we did find the 7 marijuana plants on her person. And per our policy at the sheriff's office, since she did evade in the vehicle, we do have to search it and impound it. So per our policy, the vehicle was searched, and where we did find the remaining 34 marijuana plants. I will note that they were not individually placed or anything. They were all in one trash receptacle bag, if you will. Ms. Pavlovich did advise at the time, under her rights, that she was simply gardening and was taking them to the trash. She was questioned there about why she couldn't just burn them at the farm or put them in the trash. To my recollection, she never really gave a 100% answer of why they were in the vehicle. I did reach out to Sheriff Hardy to ensure that appropriate charges were being placed. The penal code does not really specify things to an exact T, so obviously as our duties as the deputy, we place charges as we see fit, and if someone wants to argue, then we can come to court and take care of that. That's just we're here today. Going over the other sequence of events, the vehicle was impounded. Ms. Pavlovich was taken to the Department of Corrections, and then I personally called a attorney to her as she requested one. Your Honor, would you like me to go through the additional information in my statement that I sent to Mr. Lewis?
We will in a moment.
Okay.
Counselor Moody, do you have any questions for Lieutenant Porter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, Lieutenant, you mentioned that the appellant did in fact state that she was going to burn the plants, and you also stated that you found that the marijuana was found in trash bags specifically, correct?
No, that is completely wrong of what I said. I asked her why she couldn't burn them on the farm, to where she did not give an answer to my recollection, and all the marijuana plants were found in one large trash bag.
Okay, so the marijuana was found in trash bags?
Not plural, it was one trash bag.
One trash bag. Okay, and can you elaborate more on how you, I believe to my recollection, you were the one who told Ms. Pavlovich that any count of marijuana under 8 plants is considered not in controlled substance?
That's what the penal code states, Mr. Moody. But after consulting with the sheriff, and also you have to keep in mind that in a situation like this, the driver of the vehicle is responsible for every content and subject in the vehicle. So therefore, um, what's on her person and in the vehicle is her responsibility.
Hmm. But you did ask the appellant what her intentions were with the plants, didn't you?
Of course, we're going to ask why she had a total that high of marijuana plants in her vehicle and on her person. It's our due diligence to investigate why.
And what was her answer?
I don't 100% remember, so I'm not going to give a statement on that.
Hmm. Okay. That's all from me, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Lieutenant Porter, if there's any other pertinent information in your statement that was provided to Attorney.
Your Honor, the only thing I'd like to add is I did have a body cam of this incident that was found in the archives after searching quite a while. I did send this to Mr. Lewis, I want to say approximately 48 to 72 hours ago. I'm not sure if that reached your desk or the docket, but just want to make that aware of the court.
Yes, Counselor. As that evidence is not available at this time, as it is in Counselor Lewis's, we will not be bringing that evidence to this trial. Thus, that evidence is considered not pertinent. All right. If there's no further questions for Mr. Porter, you may return to your seat. Thank you very much, Mr. Porter.
Yes, Your Honor, and do you have all the information of Mrs. Pavlovich's record within the Sheriff's Office and the Department of Corrections on your file?
I do have it, yes.
Yeah.
You will get a chance to question her as well. Counselor Moody, does your client wish to come to the stand and provide a statement?
Your Honor, my client does not wish to provide a statement at this time.
Okay. We're going to be taking a 15-minute recess while I review the information. Bailiff, please dismiss the room. Thank you all. We will now proceed with closing statements. Lieutenant Porter, if you'd like to go ahead with your closing statement.
In closing, I would just like to mention to the court that Ms. Pavlovich did evade from us from the Grapeseed area to the city for a significant amount of time, where the pursuit ended in the tunnel underneath the city. Ms. Pavlovich has a significant criminal history, none of which are drug charges, but has 52 imprisonments. She's had multiple other serious felonies, including weapon charges, since the arrest of since the incident that we are here today for, including attempted murder of a government employee and other illegal firearm charges. Regarding to the drug charges, like I stated before, there is a significant amount. According to the penal code, if the court is in agreement of marijuana as a controlled substance or an illegal substance within the state of San Andreas, Ms. Pavlovich had a significant amount on her. You can reference the arrest report for the specific numbers, but according to DM01 in the penal code, possessing a controlled substance without a valid medical prescription. To my understanding, Ms. Pavlovich does not have a medical prescription for medical marijuana. And referencing DF01, the illegal possession with the intent of sales, states the possession of an illegal drug is greater than 20 grams or less than 20 in a way that could indicate use for sale and delivery. As we said before, these plants are not individually wrapped, but is a significant amount, and we are to place charges accordingly from the evidence that we have and in front of us on the field as we make those arrest reports. I'd also like to note that Ms. Pavlovich decided to leave out in the statement that she did not evade from from the sheriff's office for whatever reason, but making it clear that that did happen, and ended in the city, where she was searched, charged, and taken into custody.
Lewis, please go ahead with it.
At this time, Your Honor, I do not have anything further to state.
Thank you. You may return to your seat. Councillor Moody, if you'd please present your closing statement.
Firstly, I'd like to extend my gratitude for allowing me to be a part of this case, as well as our appreciation for everybody's attention and your attention as well, Your Honor, throughout this matter. And I would like to thank everybody for listening to both sides equally. Today we've examined multiple pieces of testimony, including the LSS. Clear that my client did not in fact know about the nature of the plants that she was trying to dispose of. I believe it has been made clear that her intention was in fact to get rid of these plants from both her farm and her person as soon as she was done with the work. In regards to the penal code, even in the penal code, it stated that it's only a controlled substance with the intent of sales if it was presented in a way it would obviously be shown that it would be for sales. Regarding the charge DF01, illegal drug possession with intent of sales, there is no body cam evidence, Your Honor, that proves that my client was in possession with intent to sale. Their only justification was that they found the plants on her person and in her car respectively, disregarding the nature and state of which said objects were found in. In this case, they were found in trash bags, and as aforementioned, they weren't found in a way that looked like they were intended for sale. They were not sorted and bagged up in small quantities or anything alike. In regards to DMO2, possession of a controlled substance while armed, the respondent is going to argue that they found marijuana on her person as well as an illegal firearm, but he himself stated that the appellant had less than 8 marijuana on her. No, she didn't have controlled substances on her person, but they still proceeded to charge. If not, then they have falsely informed my client. I mean, the prosecution does not have sufficient evidence that my client had partaken in the commission of any of these crimes. Your Honor, my client was only working with her partner in cleaning and taking care of the farm. They did not know the nature of the plants that they were going to dispose of. Finally, Your Honor, I would like to ask you that you come to the only reasonable conclusion, that you find the appellant, Ms. Pavlovich, not guilty on all counts.
Today, in the case of Ms. Pavlovich versus the Los Santos Sheriff's Department in the appeal of the DF01 illegal drug possession with the intent of sales, as well as DM02 possession of a controlled substance while armed, the court finds her innocent of illegal drug possession with the intent to sell, as it has been noted clearly by both the Los Santos Sheriff's Department as well as the applicant that they were not familiar with the drug and it was bundled loosely as if to be disposed of. Whereas DM02, this charge will stand as the Miss Pavlovich was found in possession of an illegal firearm while carrying narcotics on her person. The quantity of narcotics considered for marijuana within the state of San Andreas, in accordance to the penal code, not in departmental regulations, is anything exceeding 1. Thus, the charge of DM02 will stand. Ms. Pavlicek will be refunded the fines associated with DF02, as well as compensated for time spent in incarceration for said sentencing of 45 weeks. Pertaining to the compensation for mental anguish that you filed, Mr. Moody, can you please provide any information as to why this would be justified?
Your Honor, stated in the report, the report was done by, I believe he's a paramedic now, paramedic Kopi Krozen. He stated in his report that after her incarceration at the DOC, the anguish and pain and suffering that she had to go through, she came into Pillbox requesting a CRU session, and yeah, and he basically, from what is written in front of you, sir, he stated that she is showing signs of PTSD, which is causing her to have extreme panic attacks. And one would argue that before her prolonged stay at the DOC, she had nothing of the sort. After she was falsely charged with the aforementioned charge, she stayed in DOC for a longer period of time where she had suffered physical and mental injuries.
Your Honor,
Please continue with your statement, Moody. We will hear your side in a moment.
Honor, the report in front of you, it is also stated that she sometimes, because of these panic attacks, troubles breathing when she had these panic attacks, as well as she has a fear of going back into the open world, fearing for her safety, based on what she has seen in terms of mental and physical trauma from her stay at the DOC. That is all I have to say, Your Honor.
All right, Lieutenant Porter, anything you'd like to add?
Your Honor, I'd just like to add, as stated previously before, I would too also believe that Ms. Pavlovich would have some sort of PTSD from being in the Department of Correction as a revolving door for 52 times as of today. I'd also like to state that I'm having a hard time comprehending how this one time has given her so much anxiety and PTSD as she can continue to commit serious felonies against law enforcement officers and basically being a revolving door in the DOC.
Okay. Mr. Moody, can you please bring Ms. Pavlovich to the bench, please? Okay, Ms. Pavlovich, reviewing your records extensively, as seen here, you can see you've been incarcerated a multitude of times. The court does not put mental illness as a minority or anything of such, and strongly suggests that you continue to seek aid with the CRU units, but unfortunately, based on your previous incarcerations, we believe that this incident is not the reason for any issues you may have. Thus, we will not be awarding, and I will make a statement shortly, we will not be awarding compensation for that at this time. You most certainly can, Ms. Pavlovich. That's why I brought you up. Okay. So in this instance, Ms. Pavlovich, I'm going to recommend that you continue to log all the issues and visits to CRU. And what they'll do is, in the future, you can pursue civil lawsuit against the Department of Corrections for improper handlement of an inmate. But at this time, as this is an appeal, I am unable to compensate you for mental anguish or abuse or anything that may have happened. We're going to continue this case with the verdict I provided, and I will provide a statement as that, but I strongly suggest going forward that you continue your CRU visits and document each logging, as I see the medical record for this one was filed shortly after your incarceration. that is the best course of action going forward. It could be a little bit before we establish the civil courts, but that's how I would pursue that, as this is an appeal at this time. Very good. I appreciate it. You may return to your seats while I provide the final statement. In closing, as stated, the court finds Miss Pavlovich falsely charged of DF01, possession with the intent of sales. The charge of DM02 will stand. In the term of mental and compensation as such, the court has advised Ms. Pavlovich to file a civil suit against the Department of Corrections to pursue these. The court does not take mental illness or injuries or post-traumatic stress disorder lightly and strongly motivates that these matters be corrected in the correct form. At this time, as stated, Ms. Pavlicek will be compensated for time served as well as fines paid. Thank you all for coming. Court is adjourned.